Hello, everyone. So the topic for today's video uh, came to me after I was on a hike yesterday with some friends here where I live, and we saw on the hike these trees that had these sort of green, very luscious sprouts coming out of them. And I initially thought that was part of the main tree. However, my friend who was guiding us on the walk pointed out that these were actually parasitic plants, that they'd sort of jumped onto the host plant, as it's called, and attached themselves and were sucking from the host plant all their nutrients and all they needed to look so luscious and thrive. Um, and the nature of this relationship between this parasitic plant and the host is that the parasitic plant attaches and takes. It takes, but there's no give in return. So the host gives, and the parasite takes, but there's no benefit for the host plant, only for the parasite. So that parasitic plant can't actually exist on its own. It's got to jump and attach to something else, another plant, in order for it to be able to thrive. It has to feed off another plant that's doing well in order for it to have life or to continue to have life. So the parasitic plant gives nothing back, and actually, as I experienced yesterday, it tends to sort of take the limelight away from the host plant. I mean, I noticed the parasitic plant. Thought, oh, that's lovely, and very green, and it looks like new life is coming there. But actually, the real source of life was in the tree behind, that was lost in the background. And in fact, probably has far greater beauty than the parasitic plant in the foreground. But the host is as a support act for this parasitic plant. That's the role it ends up taking on. And I thought to myself, well, I must take a photograph of this because it is the perfect analogy, I believe, of the narcissistic relationship, whether that be with a parent, a partner, a boss, a friend, a church leader, a charity founder, any area of life. You see, the narcissistic person, has an emptiness within them that needs to be filled. When I say emptiness, they have no real personality. They've cut off so irrevocably from their true self, which they believe is the enemy, that there is a nothingness there. There is no personality that was formed. And so what they need to do, they create this false self, and they take bits in order to maintain that and create it. And they're looking to rob others who have what they want, like the parasitic plant. They want to rob others of their personality. And I'll explain this a bit more as we go along. They want to rob others of their personality first and foremost, but their empathy, their humility, their ability to be selfless, those who are deeply connected to God. All of these things are very, very attractive to the narcissist because these are what they don't have. They don't have these qualities. So the narcissistic type will seek out a prime host to attach to in order to siphon what they have from them, their life force from them, to deplete them of it entirely. so that ultimately they can be full up and the host be emptied out. That is the aim of these relationships. It's as if the narcissistic person or the narcissist recreates the mother-infant relationship, where the mother is the complete source of nourishment, of life, and all emotional needs for the baby. So the narcissist, first and foremost, what they do in order to set up this parasitic relationship with a host, they must first create an attachment bond between you and them, because that mimics the mother-baby relationship. How do they do this? Well, they make you fall in love with them. And how do they make you fall in love with them? Well, they love bomb you, but the way they do it's very interesting. Once again, it's mimicking this mother-baby bond. They will use words that invoke in you a sense and a feeling of being unconditionally loved and admired and desired. They'll use words that a mother would use to adore her baby. They use these words to lure you in, to seduce you in, so that you will drop your guard and you will willingly want to offer your whole self to them in return, just like that tree, willing to offer all of its skills, all of its energy, all of its labor, all of its life, everything, to be a source of life for another. So in other words, if you are a victim of a narcissist, subconsciously you agree at some point in the relationship to be supply. In fact, you want to be supply. That feels like love. Being supply is incredibly powerful. It's addictive, it's alluring, to be the source of everything for another, and for them to want you so much that they want to suck the life from you, becomes something that you yourself want. And this is where this addictive nature of the relationship happens. Being supply almost sounds sweet at first, and you want nothing more than to be that primary source of nourishment for your lover, for your partner, for your friend. It's intoxicating and addictive, and quickly you center your whole life around this other person, around this parasitic type, and you abandon your own dreams. And yes, you're even willing to abandon your own personality in order for them to take it over, in order to further enmesh them. And this is when the psychic takeover happens. It's where you've begun to completely give over all power over your thinking, your words, your actions. It's all focused around the narcissist. All your energy, everything is directed by you in that direction. And the narcissist feeds on that, siphons it from you more and more. And you become more and more trapped as you begin to lose yourself, all sense of yourself, because it's being sucked from you. You're being taken over from within. So you offer it all up, you offer all of you so that they can be happy, be pleased with you, so that they can thrive and they can shine. And you are happy to be the support act in the wings, supporting them, supporting their glory. But at some point, and this is the painful part, the narcissistic, parasitic type starts to mix it up a bit. They begin to suggest some negatives, some disappointment, some annoyances, or sort of like making you feel like you're not really satisfactory, you're not satisfying them anymore, that you're not really offering enough, or that what you're offering is just it's not good enough. And this is what we call the devaluation phase. In fact, some would say it's the discard phase, which is shown by the devaluation. The discard happens first and then devaluation results. But others say, no, there's a devaluation phase first, which results in a discard. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's all painful and it's all rejecting. So at this stage, they start to suggest that you're actually more of a burden than you are a source of nourishment. And they'll do this in sort of subtle and not so subtle ways, communications, covert communication, overt communication. And these begin to become more frequent. And they might be intermixed with a bit of return to the idealization, but you can never quite get it back once it starts. And the thing about it is that host plant, if we use that as an analogy, the one who is the parasitic narcissistic source or victim, then tries frantically, usually, to try to be more, do more, apologize more, adapt more, abandon themselves even more. And of course, that's only met with increased rejection, when it never works. And the more the host tries, the more despairing and self-blaming and inadequate they're made to feel. And the more powerful then the narcissistic person feels and becomes. It's like a cat. And I saw this with a cat that I looked after in London at one point, catching a mouse, but not killing it immediately, just devaluing it, just, playing around with it, pulling at bits of it, really messing with the mouse, and then ultimately killing it. So the narcissist plays with its partners, bats them around, plays with their lives and their self-esteem until the final discard. And often the trigger for this phase, this devaluation phase, is that there may be signs that the host is waking up a little bit, that the victim is waking up a little bit, and may sort of begin to question the love. Is this love, or is this being used? And that's why the narcissistic person has to jump from relationship to relationship. They can never stay for long because every relationship goes through this cycle. So they need to, while one's in the devaluation phase, they need to go and find the next host, the next source of supply that they can jump to once this ship sinks. So there's always someone backed up in the wings, ready, who they are ready to seduce. They're ready to lure in. And so that cycle repeats with all who fall for the initial seduction, that initial means of creating an attachment bond. It's as if the narcissistic personality goes back to being an infant, in these relationships so that they can enact the aggression that they harbor towards their mother, their original mother, for rejecting them. And so they do this, they recreate this with substitute mothers. And they use them just as the baby, in some ways, not uses, but the baby is dependent on its mother for all, and rightly so, for all its nutritional needs and emotional needs. Well, the narcissist recreates that. However, it's done in a more of a selfish sense. The mother-infant bond is more symbiotic. This is more of a selfish take, use. And they recreate this then with partners. They use them, and then at some point they spit them out in a final act of revenge and sort of somehow wanting to take back the power. In rejecting the mother, that's sort of their form of revenge. And unfortunately, if this is you, if you've been caught up in this kind of relationship, it is a mind. I'm trying to think of a polite way to say it. A mind mess. Because literally what is on the line here is your identity. That is what is on the line in these relationships. They're wanting a complete takeover of you so that you are left with nothing. Financially, health, emotionally, physically, everything. That's what they're about. But the thing I want you to hold on to, despite all of this, some of you might be thinking, oh gosh, what's wrong with me? Why am I attracting these types? How could I allow this to happen again? If you can take one thing from this, the fact that you are attracting these types says a lot. It says that you have incredible gifts, that you have a light in you. You have a spirit in you. You have a beauty in you, a humility, an empathy, a depth to you that the narcissist doesn't have. And it's not the best way to get a compliment, I know that. But I do want you to hold on to that. They see all your gifts, all your skills, all your achievements, and they're jealous. You see, the truth is you are more than good enough. In fact, you are more than they are. You are the prize catch, not them. And it's time to start owning it. It's time to start seeing yourself for the magnificent being that you are. And of course, if you'd like to explore this further and do some deep inner work on it, to get your mojo back, to get your dignity back, to help start putting in boundaries around yourself and not allowing your energies to be siphoned by anyone, to also begin, tracing the roots of these relationships back to the childhood wounds that facilitated this in you. This is all part of the responsibility we have to take in our own lives. We can't spend the rest of our lives blaming narcissistic types, because we each have our part to play in ending these parasitic relationships for good. It's my desire to see all of my clients thrive. And that's a big part of the way that I work with people on the subconscious level. We start to reprogram that subconscious mind to bring your energies back to you and to your dreams, and to creating your life of abundance. And that is my wish for all of my clients. I know I've been through these types of relationships, and it's my great honor to help others come out. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. It's wonderful also if you have any feedback or any comments or any experience you may have. Please do leave those, and I do try to respond to all the comments if I can. I guess I'm still in the early days of my channel, and I have the I don't have hundreds and thousands of comments, so I can respond to individual ones. Please also, if you'd like to book in for a free consultation with me on the Calendly link below this video. Okay, take care everybody, and thank you for watching. Bye now.